Okay.
Law is shifting, and the old map doesn't work anymore. This is Legal Pirates, a podcast for founders, operators, and personal injury leaders who don't wait for permission to lead change. We are category designers and collaboration friendly. Each episode explores the moves reshaping how law is built, delivered, and trusted. One question guides every conversation. What map are you using now that the old one no longer works? Let's navigate the shift.
Hi, Amy. It's so nice to meet you. Yes. So tell me, Amy, where are you from? Tell me about your law firm. I want to hear all about it.
Sure. I am based in Dallas, Texas, and we have a mix of personal injury, catastrophic personal injury, and employment law cases. My law partner and I have a history of working on pharmaceutical and sort of big mass tort litigation. So when we started our own practice, we wanted to do something like smaller and that move through the process a little bit faster, because mass torts can take 7 to 10 years.
Yeah. And Amy, it was so interesting. You were tell me about when you started the firm. And I'm really curious about that period of time and just the shift you've seen now that where we are today.
Yeah. So we started in January of 2020, which was a very interesting time to start a law firm because everything sort of slowed down. There were some benefits, though, in that I was getting ready to sign a big lease for an office, and we were then 100% remote. And I didn't sign the lease, thank God, and we were 100% remote for the first couple of years. I think I would have felt a lot of peer pressure to have offices right before the pandemic. But since then, I mean, we have some of our employees have never set foot in our offices, and we really just have offices at this point for our mental health. So that we can hang out with our friends.
And so it's been 5 years. Well, now we're 20, here we are 6 years after, and now we're in this age of AI. And so as you think about that period of time, how has that changed how you think of running the firm and just how technology has played a role in that?
Yeah, it's crazy. But because my background was in pharmaceutical litigation, where on the plaintiff side you have thousands of claimants at one time, I was fairly comfortable with the technology and having a case management software and all of those things to really keep track and make sure that you weren't losing plaintiffs or forgetting deadlines, all of those kinds of things. What's really changed is sort of I never expected that technology to give me ideas back. And so I find myself having whole conversations with Chad. Okay, so do the math for me, but also what about this idea? And just our branding. We're a firm of all women. And so we started our own podcast called Fight Like a Mother. I don't know that we would have come up with Fight Like a Mother without
I love that
pushing us to that place, right?
Yeah. And I think what's so great, and I love that you said that, is I think that in this age of AI, we need more women's voices and being able to share, how we are shaping that. So it's a real honor to be with you right now.
I mean, that's something really interesting in the employment law space. Because a lot of companies are using AI for their job searches. And finding there will be probably lawsuits about all of the thought processes that go into that black box for AI to search for people and what biases are already built in, because it is pulling data from humans, and humans are imperfect in that way. And are they being diminished, or are they being multiplied inside that system?
Well, then there's the bias that's involved and how that would shape it. And so here we are at this conference, AI for PI, hosted by Puma. What's been a big takeaway or learning from today so far for you?
So I just went back and called my partner, my law partner, and said my takeaway from this morning was to sit where you are and really sort of build a foundation. So you come to situations like this, and I don't know if that's the camera.
Yeah, I know. I'm just kind of
you come to things like this, and you kind of get bombarded with all of the newest, greatest technology, and it's really overwhelming, and you get kind of frozen. And so sitting with where you are and really perfecting that before you move on to the next thing, because it's just like every other software that we've used in our past, garbage in, garbage out. So if you really need to be thinking about, okay, what are my prompts looking like? How do I build a good prompt? What is the outcome I'm getting? How can I play around with that before you then think, okay, how can I outsource these prompts to the entire office? And it's funny because it's a lot like everything else I've heard, like the leaders in your firm really need to be sitting down with the technology. It's not something that you can just say, we're buying it from a
I
box
agree.
and we're implementing it. That doesn't work. It's not going to work. And then I think people get frustrated with the product, but it's really because they're not sitting with it themselves and figuring out, how does this work?
Right.
For me, how does this actually mimic my voice? How do I set this up so that it computes with the values of my firm and how I practice law?
Exactly.
And so keeping those things inside the software is going to require your leaders in the organization really understanding how that works.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the takeaway, that she and I are going to have to sit down. And we just went with a specific AI provider and talking about how we're building those prompts and how we're setting.
And is it more like a legal AI tool that you're going to be using at the firm? Yeah. And I do agree with you. Leadership really, as leaders, you're really setting the example for teams to say, we as a culture are going to incorporate and integrate AI. And I think that's such a unique and innovative way to look at it, as you're kind of really setting that roadmap, because I think here people are trying to learn from one another. And I think that, sort of, even though we're in the age of AI, being a leader and what that means is so critical, I think, for people to adopt and kind of move into this next stage. Yeah. So I was curious, like, what challenges, I mean, you're very forward thinking, but I would love to learn, like, what kind of challenges have you seen along the way just in driving adoption?
So really, it's kind of like trying to do organic chemistry without having sort of elementary science. And sometimes I have been in that situation in my life. Like, it's great if this is doing this over here in this box and this is doing this over here in another box, but how do I get these boxes to talk to one another? And like, which software do I use? So here's the example. I literally came here because I really want an avatar.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be
your digital twin.
I don't want to be doing all of these videos, right? So I really want an avatar, and I tried to figure it out on my own.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, this company here, but the pricing and that doesn't look good and whatever. And so I've been going around talking to people like, tell me what the avatar situation is, and everyone's like, yeah, it's not great. Yeah. We are figuring it out or whatever. And so I guess that is, I'm hoping 6 months from now that the avatar situation will be plug and play. But I don't know that, I think I have fallen into the same trap that I was talking about.
Yeah.
It's not going to be plug and play for anything. We're going to have to figure out the backbone of things.
And it's authentic, and as you really is a reflection of who you are. And
someone was saying, like, having blemishes and stuttering and all of that is how you know it's not AI.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm looking at the video going, I really don't like my hair.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. You want to
be. I stutter there.
Exactly. Yeah. One thing that I'm very curious about is just, how do you see, when we look at the adoption of AI and just how in the legal industry we're seeing a lot of shifts. As a personal injury attorney, like all but the areas, how do you see? I feel like there's more adoptions happening faster. I don't know. I mean, I'm curious, like, your thoughts compared to maybe a very large law firm, or I'm curious, just generally.
Statistics on this that actually really large law firms are adopting at a much faster rate, but I think they're doing it in a very small slice of the pie. I also think that personal injury lawyers are sort of on the cutting edge of things a lot.
Yes.
We also have an employment law practice that is different than personal injury. And I was just at a CLE last week with the employment law people who were talking about AI in a way that's very different than we're talking about AI here. And so it's a much slower adoption in how I would say, what they're talking about from AI is the same things I was hearing in the PI space about a year ago.
Yeah.
And in AI terms, a year ago is decades.
Yes.
So I think that the PI space is really on the cutting edge of technology across the board. You're handling so many more plaintiffs. You have to figure out how to do that really efficiently. But I do think it will invade sort of every space. I also think on the legal aspect, the things we heard about before I was really focusing on the tech of how to the individual facts of plaintiffs was legal research. And I do think that on a legal research standpoint, AI and the hallucinations is still a big issue.
Yeah.
And so what I tell people in my firm is to deal with it sort of like if you were giving it to a young associate. So you're going to check your young associate.
Yes.
Same with AI. But I think that really, from the broader legal community, was like really like,
well, it was very shocking. I mean, I wonder what happened to site checking. Like, that was the thing I learned in law school. Like, you never filed a brief without checking sites. And I'm like, what's happening? Or is this just a step that's being missed? I think there's so many safeguards we have to put in place, but yeah, it is something that,
So I think the general legal public, that's what they know in a lot of ways.
Okay.
So I think that figuring that out is going to be a big step for lots of lawyers, and understanding there are lots of ways you can use AI, and that you're probably already using AI that don't involve case searches or legal briefing.
Yeah. With the time we have left, I'm really curious, just because something you brought up, you're evaluating all these different AI tools. What did you think about, like, for the people that are going to be watching this podcast, like, you've been through this, you've done that. What big things did you consider in that evaluation?
So we are very litigation based, and so a lot of the AI solutions are very pre-litigation focused, and sort of on demands and medical technologies, which is really important. But I really wanted something that would carry through with us through the things that take up a lot of time in litigation, which we all know is answering and reviewing discovery. So I really wanted a product that could do those things. And then, obviously, is my data safe, and it's not being used to teach other things, and it's not going to leak out, and it's HIPAA compliant, all of those kinds of things. And then those people who would let me actually use the product for a week or two without signing a long-term contract, because I found that those people who have a really good product are happy to show it. And those people who are like, I don't want to show it to you, I want you to sign the contract instead, probably.
Those are great. Well, thank you so much for being on our podcast. We're really thrilled at learning all your insights, Amy, and we're looking forward to spending more time with you at the AI for PI Expo. Thank you so much. All right. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Thank you. Oh, that was great. I really loved your story.
Thanks for listening to Legal Pirates. Remember, the old rules aren't coming back. Follow the show and keep charting your own course. We'll see you next time.